So pretty wild, but at the time of releasing this week's podcert, it will have been exactly 2 months since I cut my tour short and took an emergency flight back home from Zurich. This is officially the longest that I've gone without playing a show in the last 7 years. As I've mentioned in some of the live streams, that as much as the negatives of the financial disaster and feeling pretty crushed emotionally not to be able to do this thing I love, my body feels so healthy and rested. Hopefully you've all experienced some unexpected upside to this as well. Before we get into the contents, I got to give you a Zwift update, unsolicited of course. Since the periods between podcasts are more weekly, I'm actually pleased to report that I've doubled last week's stats and managed to get up to 96.6 kilometers with an elevation of 670, and I think I shamed myself back into a better routine. Thank you very much. Again, a massive shout out to everyone who's been supporting these videos on Patreon. There's a link below. Have a look at this platform, and even if it's not myself, find an artist to support. I think it's the future of how artists will find means to create the work they do. So in this podcert, I want to take you all the way back to the beginning of my projects. In 2011, together with my pals and collaborators, Mike LeBlanc and Harley Haskett, with Lynn Dubuc in the producer chair, I made my first solo EP. It was a departure from singing and writing in punk rock bands, and it felt like a move into a new, exciting direction. We recorded 5 songs, got them mastered, and together with designer Bika, we printed what I think is still one of the most stunning CD designs, a ruby red foil imprint on a matted black gatefold envelope. It felt like it had all the fixings and trimmings you could put into a CD, and the printing cost of them was at least double. But I thought this was important, that I could create something beautiful that someone might want to hang on to forever. On the evening of my 30th birthday, the whole gang and me put on an incredible CD release party at the now defunct Oz Studios in Toronto's West Side. Since this was not a normal venue for concerts, we had to bring everything in, including a PA. We set up our own bar for the night, and it meant loading in every aspect and tearing it out as well. We pulled it off, and a packed room got the first taste of what I would be doing for the next decade of my life. About a month later, I flew to San Francisco for my first ever concerts out of Toronto as a solo artist. In fact, I think I'd only played about 3 or 4 in Toronto before I went on what would be a 7-week tour, starting in California and then heading coast to coast in my home country of Canada. With me, I had the first iPod that you could connect Wi-Fi to. I think I used this for some basic email on the road, and I shot a couple of videos of this trip. It was a little documentary of my time, starting in California, where I met up with a buddy of mine, Ben, and he had moved to Silicon Valley to work for a tech startup, and we drove around the Bay Area for those shows that I had there. I caught up with another friend, Emily, in Los Angeles before flying up to Vancouver to start my cross-Canada tour going west to east. This was also the tour that I was a part of Via Rail's Artist on Board program. The deal of a lifetime. Perform concerts for the passengers as the train traveled across Canada and get a free trip. Touring Canada in the middle of the coldest month of the year is an experience. I'll add that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And there's a reason why I now stick to warmer months of the year for shows in this country. If you head on YouTube, you can check out the little tour video. I recorded this rock and roll version of my song, This Is the Lie.
I never once went thirsty in the dry deserts of the best country in the world. God bless this space.
It's the lead-off track of the EP. The version in the video is different than the full band version on the album. And I'm actually going to play you a third version of this song, one that lends itself a little bit more to intimate rooms and listening audiences. It's also the version that forced me to be a slightly better guitar player. So without further ado, here's my song, This Is the Lie.
once went thirsty in the dry deserts of the best country in the world. Yeah, God bless this mess. And I wander down those highways, where do they go? Nobody ever seems to say what needs to know. Lord, your eyes hear the Baptists sing, and sing on a Sunday, past the praise and the pause that change, and I'll pay just to be saved. I'm kissing girls in the pouring rain. Young love is a fine time. I'm gonna feel it again. This is the life. And this feeling, it's contagious. It frightens and contains me. It holds me tight. Yeah, this is good night. When these British girls, they're gleaming, their faces shine with magic. It's party time. This is good life in a slow down time. When I close my eyes, midlife is a fine time. Find some drugs in the Goa sun and sleep when you're dead, my friends. Wanna know you for the rest of my life, then scatter the ashes. The Great Lakes on Northumberland Strait gonna fade away. You're faster and faster before dust or decay. I wanna do it all again, from the cradle to the grave. This is the life.
Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another podcert. Stay safe and stay healthy, and I hope everyone is keeping well. Cheers!